Today's episode of the Natural Habitat Podcast is brought to you by Puffer Shades. Puffer Shades are polarized sunglasses for the marijuana connoisseur. Do you like looking stylish? Are your sunglasses cheap as fuck and you're tired of people making fun of your face? Well, go to puffershades.com today and get yourself a pair. And also, you'll save 20% with the code NHP when you check out. So make sure you use the code so they know that we sent you and so that you also save 20%. They might have a thing on their page that says save 30% with this code. Don't use that code. Just save 20% with us. It'll help us out more. But if you really want to save that 30%, I won't blame you. Either way, puffershades.com. They support us, so go support them. It's Saturday matinee time, and we are here with another classic. We made it through Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving is not over, if that makes any sense. Because we got one more Saturday left in November, so we're hitting you with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the best Thanksgiving movie in the world.
The Natural Habitat Podcast. Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast.
I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. Welcome to the Natural Habitat Podcast, everybody. My name is Mikey Booyah.
My name's Unknown.
And we're going to say a lot of things today that don't matter. So, Get ready for that shit.
Ain't nothing new around here.
So we hope that everybody out there had a great Thanksgiving, first of all. I hope that none of your turkey was poisoned and that you made it home safe. You didn't kill any in-laws. And
hope none of you got trampled in the fucking Black Friday stampedes.
That shit's dangerous, man. You gotta be careful.
Shit is fucking stupid. I hope everybody out there knows that we're the fucking laughing stock of the planet every year on Black Friday, because I was watching videos, and everybody in the UK is all waiting in line. They're serving snacks and refreshments and shit to people waiting in line. They go in one at a time, all calm and shit, and then it changes over to America, and it's a fucking stampede of idiots running and trampling over everybody, trying to get to the fucking stupid TVs that ain't worth a shit. You know what I mean? It's so funny, dude. So funny to see like what people rush out. You know, you could have bought all that same shit online. You didn't have to go wait in line. You didn't have to do anything. You could have used the fucking internet that's here. You could have got delivered to your house. You didn't have to do shit. You could have got the same exact deal and avoided the entire mess. You didn't have to do shit.
Yep. And I don't know why people don't do that shit. Instead, they'd rather go trample people for some fucking shitty-ass TVs. The TVs that they sell on Black Friday are the cheapest TVs they have, and they knock like $40 off of them. So it's not really that great of a deal.
And they're already outdated before they go on sale.
Yeah, so whatever you get, it's not going to be compatible with the new things that you get for Christmas.
Because January 1st, all the new shit drops. All the new shit drops that's not available for sale right now. So to buy all the new shit right now is just like the shit that they couldn't sell throughout the year. Yeah. This is the end of the end, bottom of the barrel fucking bullshit. And everybody runs to it, but they just don't realize it yet. You know, it's like, you got to be ahead of the game.
But to some people, that's worth, possibly getting themselves or one of their loved ones trampling someone else's loved one, kind of like cheating out some old lady so you can get the next Xbox instead of her for her grandson. And it causes people to battle against each other in a time when we should be thankful to have each other. And a lot of people don't spend Thanksgiving night with their families because they go and camp out in front of Best Buy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now they open Best Buy at random hours as to not cause a riot.
A lot of things started at 5 p.m. The day before on the actual Thanksgiving. So it's crazy. Like pretty soon, Thanksgiving is not even going to be Thanksgiving anymore. It's going to be just another shopping day. You know what I mean? And everything is like slowly
taken over,
being built up around that more and more. Yeah, and it's ridiculous, especially after watching the comparison videos. You know, it's like when you see how everybody else does it and then you see how we do it, you should be embarrassed. And if you took part in that shit, if you were part of it, you should be embarrassed. You know what I mean? I've seen watching grown men taking stuff out of little kids' hands, watching women fight other women over fucking nothing, like kitchen stuff. You know what I mean? Like What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Right? But
everybody needs to smoke. If they
America,
handed out
man.
joints in the line, you know what I'm saying? Like if everybody had to start smoking a joint at the front of the line and just pass them all back, you know what I mean? Everybody would wait their turn. Everybody would be too high to run and stampede everybody.
Well, I think
what I'm saying? And
that probably would help. And I think that once they legalize weed nationwide, then we're not going to have a lot of these problems. A lot of people are going to
waiting
forget.
for legalization. Fuck that. Let's get a street team of people to go serve joints to the people online.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Just go do it. Let's get people in every city next year.
Let's get a very non-credible doctor to go around and give everyone their licenses, and then we'll hand them weed. But I think that what it is it's like it's ingrained in us as a society and as like a culture, the American culture, because America is based on, you know, buying things, buying and selling. It's our economy. And this is just a big, all the way from Halloween until December, 25th. It's all, even all the way up until like Christmas Eve at night, people are buying like fucking crazy shit at crazy deals and last minute spending. And that's guaranteed. Corporations can get people to buy their shit around this time of year because, your love from other ones is based on what you get them and how much you impress them. And if you don't have the coolest thing, then you're not going to be at the same level as this other family that has cooler shit than you. So, like, I think that that's all subconsciously in our heads. We need to battle and become, the most powerful, have the best car, have the best money. And that's just because it's shown to us over and over and over again.
I'm all for that shit. Just in a more normal way, You don't have to fucking rush and run through doors.
Yeah, when it comes to a battle between
retards,
between your fellow man, if it's going to be you or him, it's going to be me. That's some crazy shit.
I mean, every other day in life, you have to be civil and act like a normal, fucking, productive human in society. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to act like a fucking giant retard on one day a year and jump over people and be rude as fuck. I mean, there's no excuse for it. You're going to get there the same time as everybody else. You're all waiting in the same retard line. You know what I'm saying? You're all. I mean, what do you gain? I don't get it. What do you gain from being a dick? You never.
Everybody with you
dick.
is just as dumb as you. So don't worry about it. Just mosey on.
Extend a hand to your brother retard and like hold each other's hands while you walk in there and shit. Or do something like, come on, look out for each other.
Every retard should have a hand to hold.
Yeah, it's all about that weed. Anyways. I feel like fuck.
That took a sour turn real quick.
Yeah, I think we should jump into an early smoke sesh.
You think so? You want to clean this up? Clean this up with a smoke sesh? All right.
Yeah. Let's clean this up so we can get high and then get to the real reason why we're here. This fucking awesome movie from one of the greatest eras ever, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yep, and it's on Netflix right now. Not all the movies that we do are on Netflix. So
yeah,
if you
sometimes
have a
it's
Netflix,
a bitch. So
if your aunt has a Netflix or your neighbor, go ahead and steal that shit, and you can watch it now. But
hell yeah,
we are gonna get into the smoke sesh. If anybody out there would like to join us, go ahead and flick your bics and snap your pics and hashtag them NHP Smoke Sesh while you're blazing with us, and post them online on your favorite social media place. If you don't want people to see it, then start a guerrilla account that doesn't show your face and just start posting pictures on that, or send them directly to us. We will unblur your face and send them to your managers. So let's get into it. You ready? I'm gonna heat up this.
I'm ready.
Heat up this new titanium nail over here.
It's nail time.
It's nail time. So if anybody's got nails to heat up, this is the way to do it. Or just break up your nugs. So I understand that you have a very fitting track for us today, Joey. Is that correct?
Yep. It's actually it was played in the movie. It's not a movie theme song. Usually I like to do the actual theme music from the movie. But I thought this was more appropriate because this was an iconic scene from the movie as well. In the movie, this is a scene where John Candy's driving and Steve Martin's trying to sleep in the passenger seat, and he's trying to stay awake, and he's listening to the song while he's cruising.
They doing the mess around. They doing the mess around. Everybody doing the mess around. Now, when I say stop, don't you move a peg. When I say go, just shake your leg and do the mess around. I declare I'm doing the mess around. Yeah, do the mess around. Everybody's doing the mess around. Now let me have it, now, boy.
This is when he's playing piano on the dashboard and almost crashes the car.
You gotta get the head going back and forth like a Ray Charles. Can't see nothing, but you see everything.
That's around, boy.
What a dope track, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit, that type of music can make anybody happy. I don't care what you're going through. You put on some shit like that and you're feeling yourself.
Yep, I love it. Fucking.
Yeah. And it was a real dope movie too.
And he fucking did that scene amazingly. Like, he was fucking like so funny, playing the piano, playing the trumpet, and he was playing everything right too. Like, you could tell when someone's like playing the air guitar right and when they're playing it wrong. And like, he's playing everything right, hitting all the right imaginary notes, eyes closed, and he's just like, woo, and fucking all over the road, like swerving all over the place. And that was the same scene that he tries to take his jacket off, right? And it gets stuck on the chair.
Yeah.
Both sleeves get stuck, and he has no arms, and he
goes
can't
into
steer.
Doesn't he go into the other lane? Something after that.
Yeah, and it's like, just hit the gas or hit the brake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just take your feet still work.
Just hop out. Pull over, handle your business.
But that's just the character that he was, and I think that everybody's known someone like John Candy's character in this movie. Someone that's like a salesman, loves to talk, has all these little catchphrases, and how he was going on about how he hates people that won't shut their mouth. And then maybe a half hour later, he's like, "You never shut your damn mouth," and like all pissed at himself. So he knows.
And the plot was that they were trying to get home for Thanksgiving, and we're not gonna lie, that's the reason why we did this shit.
Yeah.
Is because it was time appropriate, themed Thanksgiving. We were trying to see what Thanksgiving movies were good that we liked, and we both right away agreed that this was one. So that's why we did it. And another cool thing looking into this, and a lot of people don't realize, is this is another one of those flicks that is connected to another movie universe. Do you know which one?
No, I don't.
It's connected to Home Alone.
How so?
Because his character is the same character that he was in Home Alone. Gus Polanski, the polka king of the Midwest in Home Alone.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Man, what a trip.
The traveling salesman.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same writer. His name's John Hughes.
Uh-huh.
And he's been in a lot of movies with John Hughes. John Candy has. He's been in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, National Lampoon's Vacation, The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, She's Having a Baby, Home Alone, Only the Lonely, and Career Opportunities. That's a lot of movies to be with one writer.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
That's hella crazy.
Yeah, they really did it right back then.
And they were one of the best like comedy teams in my opinion when you put two people together in a movie. Like I can't really think of any other ones that they've done together. Is this the only movie that Steve Martin and John Candy were the two main characters in?
I'm not sure. I'm sure they've been in other. I know for sure they've been in other movies together, but
not as like the two main.
Not as just like the two main characters, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, this was, but they make it's like an instantly a classic comedy team. Like, your Cheech and Chongs or your David Spades and Chris Farley, You know,
Yeah.
they worked together good. There was no like clash of egos in the movie to where, you know, one person is like exalted more than the other one. They both had their own respective thing going on, and I think you know, if they would have stayed together, it would have been awesome. Like, imagine if we had like 15 or 13 different movies, like the fucking like Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, how they just did movies all together all the time.
Yeah.
But just coming together for this one is like just as good as 13.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, I think they were both the same type of actor too. You know, like they were both that ad lib, on the spot, more like Saturday Night Live / Second City TV type of fucking character actors too. You know what I mean? Like they're both super familiar with that type of shit. So them to play cool animated roles like these and adapt those characters were probably super easy for them. And they are the type of actors that like work off of each other. You know, so they're perfect for these type of roles.
Yep. So this movie came out a year after I did, and it's grossed $500 million in the United States.
Damn.
That's pretty fucking crazy. So I was reading a lot of shit, and I came up with a lot of interesting shit on here. Like, one that stood out to me the most was that no actual airline companies wanted to be involved in the making of the movie because they didn't want to be shown as like incompetent or as they couldn't get you home for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Which makes sense. I don't see why any airline company would want to do that to themselves. But
right.
I want to say that didn't the scene when fucking what's his face? I forget his name, but the other pilot comes out with like the two ladies. No, different movie. Never mind. Sorry about that. So no transportation companies wanted to appear, so they had to rent 20 miles of train track, refurbish old railroad cars, construct an airline terminal, and design a rent-a-car company with an actual logo, uniforms, and 250 cars that they rented from a different rent-a-car company. And they just made all this shit from scratch, like on Paramount's budget.
Dope.
As well as Steve Martin's house that his character lived in. They built that fucking house for the movie. They didn't just find a house. So they built a 7-bedroom house, cost $100,000 to do it, and it pissed John Hughes off.
Super nuts that like the type of fucking budgets they have for projects like that. Like,
yeah.
Here, we're just gonna build all this shit that we're never gonna use again. What do they do with that shit? Do they just like hide it somewhere and like wait and hope that maybe they need some shit to use some other day, or like do they sell it right away, or like who knows?
I guarantee you John Hughes' whore of a granddaughter is staying in it with her boyfriends when he doesn't know. He just comes home and there's like Chinese takeout everywhere. He doesn't understand why.
Or it's Randy Quaid hiding out in there or some shit.
It could be Randy Quaid.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get a hold of him in jail and get an interview with him. Hopefully that'll work out. So another cool thing about this movie is that it's both Steve Martin and John Candy's favorite movie that they've done. So
that's awesome.
They were asked independently years later in interviews, "What's your favorite movie you've ever been a part of?" And they both said Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Which is dope because they've been in a lot of classics. You know what I mean?
Well, Roger Ebert also said that he thought this was one of the greatest movies ever made.
That's dope.
Yeah, he said it was perfectly cast and soundly constructed, and all else flows naturally. It's just like, it's pretty good.
Yep. So there is something that I want to address that just popped in my head before we forget about it. So for people that have seen this movie, I'm going to go ahead and assume that like 80% of you guys have seen this movie. Because it's a really good one, but it also is one of those classic obscure ones. You know what I'm saying? So Steve Martin and John Candy are constantly becoming intertwined and then separated and then back together and separated and back together. Well, at one point, their credit cards get mixed up by the hotel clerk. He runs their credit cards. They both have like the same color card, but Steve Martin has a credit card and John Candy has like some Kohl's card or some shit that he can't really buy anything on. So they do that, switch them up, and they go into like, you know, each other's wallets. And you're like, oh no, that's going to be a problem later. You know what I'm saying? Well, they end up coming back together, splitting up, coming back together, splitting up. And then Steve Martin goes to rent a car, and his car's not there. He's running back to the fucking place and shit. So John Candy drives by. Like, there's a scene where Steve Martin like falls out into the road and almost gets hit by a car. And the guy driving the car is John Candy. And he's like, hey, you need a ride? I just rented this car. So they go drive down the street. Steve Martin puts his wallet in the glove box and then falls asleep. So somewhere within this, because the car sets on fire, and then John Candy admits that he had his credit card, they were switched out, and that he had rented the car with his credit card. And then he was like, well, where's my credit card? And he goes, well, I switched it back out when you were sleeping. Okay, this speaks a lot towards John Candy's character's character. You know what I'm saying? Like, he fucking stole this guy's credit card, who was his best friend, or like one of his, like a really good friend. You really meet a guy that you connect with and you fuck it up. And like, so he really liked this guy, wanted to spend some time with him, wanted to help him out. And he fucking stole his credit card, charged the car to it, and then returned the credit card to his wallet without saying anything. And that doesn't seem like anything that his character would do. You know what I mean? Like, that's some like grand theft shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the seriousness of that, like, I was really surprised that he did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to take advantage of someone that in the end of the movie lets you come to their house for Thanksgiving?
I don't know, man.
Did I read into that too much?
Yeah, I don't know. He could have been slick. I don't know, you know. I
mean, he is a salesman, so you got to give him that.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess like they're trying to make him look like when he was selling the shower rings
as earrings and shit.
Yeah, and making up all kinds of different stories for him, and like that shit was really cool too. So you know, he was really just a con man, you know. Yeah,
that was hella funny. Yeah, I guess every salesman is just a con man in some way or form.
Yeah.
But either way, I still love him. I still love his character.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna play a clip.
All right, what's going on in this clip?
This is towards the beginning. It's after John Candy jacks his cab, and when they first actually meet and talk.
I know you don't. I'm usually very good with names, but I'll be damned if I haven't forgotten yours.
You stole my cab.
I've never stole anything in my life.
I hailed a cab on Park Avenue this afternoon, and before I could get in it, you stole it.
You're the guy who tried to get my cab. I knew you. Yeah. You scared the bejesus out of me. Come to think of it, it was awful easy to get a cab during rush hour.
Forget it.
I can't forget it. I am sorry. I had no idea that was your cab. Let me make it up to you somehow, huh, please? How about a nice hot dog and a beer?
No thanks.
Just a hot dog, then.
I'm kind of picky about what I eat.
Some coffee.
No.
Milk?
No.
Soda?
No.
Some tea?
No.
Lifesavers?
No.
Slurpee?
Sir, please.
Just let me know. I'm here. I knew you.
So he was a con man.
Coffee?
Sure.
Tea? Lightsabers? I've never stolen anything in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you haven't gotten his wallet yet.
He just makes it believable because he's like a natural salesman. That's his character, you know what I mean? And he's like, he walks the line between a con man and a crook and an actual salesman, because he does have shit that he's selling. But who knows if that's his real job. And like you said, you pointed out to me about the trunks he always carries with him.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean? And that is kind of suspicious, you know? And now that I look back, the trunk's always there. The trunk's on the cover. The trunk's on all the posters.
Uh-huh.
The trunk's at the end. You know what I'm saying?
He's always carrying the trunk, and it's always in every shot. And fucking Steve Martin, that's how he misses his cab the first time, because he trips over the trunk. So it's literally like a prop in the movie, like a character. And when John Candy's dragging the trunk away and Steve Martin goes and picks it up. And so they definitely went out of their way to make sure that the trunk was in the movie all kinds, and that everybody saw it, thought about it, but he never opened it. He never opened this trunk and showed what was inside it. So we have our theory of what's inside the trunk, and I think that you guys should also get involved and try to guess what's inside the trunk. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
There was something else I wanted to. Oh yeah, a big major part of the movie, filming wise, was driving from state to state trying to find snow. They had problems finding snow, and by the time they would find a place that would snow, and they would drive there and get the whole, crew there and all the equipment, then the snow would be melted, and they would have to find another place to go and shoot, and it was just hell. And apparently, John Hughes was going through some shit at the time. Is that his name? John Hughes?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was going through some shit at the time when they were moving around. And it took a toll on him and the movie, I guess. Just all the moving around from state to state. But I'm not really sure what's going on, because this was a time before internet, Twitter, and when we would know what John Hughes's deal was, and what kind of tranny he banged or what kind of STD his wife has. So I really can't tell you what happened. Probably, I'm gonna say it was a flu, or he found out that his daughter had a baby, little baby girl that was gonna grow up into his granddaughter and crash in his home that he built.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So, you know what? I just can't stop thinking about it. The trunk, okay? They never opened the trunk, which is like, why? Why would you not open the trunk? You know what I mean? I watched it all the way to the end. Trunk does not get open. Well, the director, John Hughes, says that inside the trunk is one pillow and a picture of John Candy's wife. Or John Candy's character's wife. You know what I mean? Dell's wife. So, you're trying to tell me...
He did have the pillow, though.
Yeah.
In the movie.
And he had the picture of his wife, too. That was on the thing.
Yeah. He had both of those things.
So, I guess that's why those two things are in the case, because you don't ever see him carrying those around. You know what I mean? He never has the picture and the pillow. So,
well, the pillow is a hypoallergenic pillow.
Yeah, that's right. That he has to carry around
because he's allergic to other ones, and that makes sense why he'd have to keep it in the case.
Yeah, you're right. But
damn.
But I don't know if a hypoallergenic pillow and a picture of his wife is as heavy as they made it look in the movie. They made this case look very heavy. The case, I'm sure, is heavy on its own. It's got, steel reinforcing. I don't know what the hell it's made out of. So I'm sure it's not that light and pretty bulky to carry as a big fat guy like John Candy. But he was struggling with that shit for a while. And I have very strong reason to believe that his wife is in that case. His wife's body has been in that case for 8 years. And...
well,
he has it sealed so it doesn't smell. You know what I mean?
He is a con man. You never know.
You really don't. And that was one of the saddest scenes in the movie, where Steve Martin's getting on his final train. to head home, and says his goodbyes with John Candy, and says to say hello to your wife. I forget her name. Say hello to your wife for me. I feel like I know her already. And then John Candy's like, yeah, will do. All sad and shit. And then he just goes and sits in the train station by himself. And then when Steve Martin comes back in and you find out that his wife is dead and that he's just been traveling around the United States for fucking 8 years with nowhere to go. And they do that, like, they stare at each other, like it goes back and forth, and it's just like staring face. And then it cuts. Yeah, it's all awkward. And then it immediately cuts to them walking down the street, holding the case in between them. You know what I mean? As if they both killed this lady and they're going to do something with her body. And Steve Martin took full responsibility. And I think it's like a metaphor for, like, your friends will help you bury a body. You know what I mean? I think that's where that came from, is planes, trains, and automobiles. It's an implied body. Yeah. I'm telling you. If you don't think...
Maybe they were both hitmen, and we didn't see it coming. They were both hitmen for the mob, and they're meeting up to take somebody out.
Maybe.
And then they carried the body out together at the end.
And this was all their side story.
If this was a comic book, these would be like alternate ending universes and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And then, you know what? That kind of makes sense. And then the whole movie is shot in the point of view of a police officer. So the audience is the police, and you're looking at them, and then they're like, no, we're just salesmen, and we're just doing this. Look at what we did the other day. And it's just all a big story. But if you look through it, there's a body in that trunk. I'm telling you. And it might not even be his wives. It could just be someone random. It could be the lady at the airport that Steve Martin said his record amount of fuck words to. And fuck words. That was weird. Nobody says fuck words. You either say fuck or you say F word. You don't say fuck word.
Right.
But either way, he did say a lot of different versions of the fuck word. And,
here, I got that. I got a clip right here.
Yeah?
No, Mom's gonna do the turkey. Yeah, Dad wants ambrosia, so I guess we gotta get those miniature marshmallows. And I'll do the crescent rolls, and you do the cranberries. You know I can't cook. Oh. Yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. Gobble, gobble. Oh, bye-bye. Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes. Low battery. You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Then you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me.
And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
May I see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, what?
You're fucked.
That was fucking amazing. So...
Yeah, that was super amazing. But what wasn't amazing is, did you hear my speaker?
Low battery.
How cool is that, right? it talks to you and shit. It's
that
like,
was
hey,
that was
low
actually
battery.
People have never heard Jerry's voice before, but that was Jerry, and he was just coming in to let us know that the battery was low. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, man.
Word up, bro. Good looking out.
He put some new batteries in there, and he hopped on mic real fast, which I don't know why he took the liberty to do that. Don't ever do that again, Jerry. You're not on mic, so don't talk.
She was hardcore, son.
Mm-hmm. So he came in, low battery. Thank you. But next time, just make a sign. You know what I mean? Draw out a sign, hold it up. We'll figure it out.
Flashing light, something.
Yeah. But what you want to do is you want to make a sign, and I want it to be professional. All right, Jerry? I don't want it to be like little scribbled with Sharpie. I want this to be box letters. I want you to, stencil them out, make it look good like you're at a sports game. And then I also want you to take those little blinky reflector things that bikers wear on their belts and put those on the corners of the sign so that way it'll catch our attention and you don't have to say things like low battery on mic and fuck up the whole flow of the fuck words. All right, Jerry? Sorry about that, everybody.
So another John Hughes movie, She's Having a Baby, was playing in the background of the motel scene, even though it was released after, or no, it was released before Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
It was released before it, or it was released after?
I think it was before.
I think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was released before. What movie was it?
She's Having a Baby.
She's Having a Baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it was before.
Yeah, because She's Having a Baby was 88, and this was 87.
Yeah.
So he played, they were watching a movie that hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
With Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Who also had a brief moment in the film.
Yeah.
Young Bacon.
That's funny. He was really funny back then, too.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon's the shit, man.
Yeah, he's super funny.
He's been schooling it. And it's like, he's definitely old as fuck now, but he's doing a pretty good job at keeping his youth. Like, when he was young, he looked old. And now that he's old, he looks young. You know what I mean? So he just kind of stayed in the middle the whole time.
Neo's family home in the movie is the same house in Home Alone.
No, it's actually, it's a town away from the house in Home Alone. Because I was reading about it.
It says it's the same house.
Does it? Hold on. Let me find it. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Because I read this thing that it was, the house used as the Neo family home is actually in Kenilworth on Warwick. The home used in Home Alone is on Lincoln Avenue in Winnetka, one town over.
Well, this thing lied then.
So maybe they're talking about, maybe it was the same house, but maybe they were talking about the address in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like where it was located in the universe of Home Alone.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess the movies were more tied together than we thought. They fucking used the same damn house.
Yeah, I think that's dope though. You know what I mean? Like that's what's cool for all the fans. The little stuff like that, when people realize it, like, no, the character's name wasn't the same. Like, John Candy's character's name wasn't the same as Home Alone. Like, in Home Alone, it was Gus Polanski, and in this movie, his name was Dale something or whatever.
But it was the same character on paper.
But yeah, it's the same character. Like, you can tell it's the same guy. And it's cool to see, like, when you pay attention and realize that stuff was connected, because this was all around the same time frame too. You know what I mean? It's like one right after another.
So that string of the fuck string where Steve Martin said fuck 18 times,
yeah,
was all within 60 seconds, and it's the only time in the movie that word is said. It's the only time that they drop any F-bombs in the whole movie. So they could have had a PG-13 rating and, appealed to a wider audience. You know what I'm saying? But instead, they just kept that scene in, made it rated R, and that was that. So I think it was a good call because that scene's classic. Like,
yeah, me too.
I saw so many people talking about it, and, I was looking up, because Steve Martin, he does, like, he'll cuss, like, in movies and, in, like, specials and whatever the fuck he does, but he doesn't really, like, he saves them. Like, he doesn't rely on it like a lot of comedians do. Like, a lot of comedians will be, like, dirty, so they just, like, use it up, and it's just like a kid. When you say it too much, then it loses its power. Well, Steve Martin still has that power to where he could drop it, and it's, like, weird because that he's, like, really upset when he does some shit like that. And for him to fucking just go on a string like that. It's like he's been holding it in his whole career. But when I was looking it up about how much he cusses, just everybody's favorite scene, like, is that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I think it was nicely done.
Yeah, he's dope in everything. Both of them are. And, like, that's the thing. Is like, you're right, he didn't have to rely on that type of stuff, but that wasn't his thing either. You know, things were way different then. You know what I'm saying? Like, characters were more open and could do anything they wanted to do without, like, things now. Like, you don't even see characters smoke cigarettes really anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, I don't know. It's just like things were so different back then compared to everything, you know? So it's like to see them play these type of characters and then to see, like, them do things out of the norm that they wouldn't necessarily do. Like John Candy's character be like a con man. You never really see him like that, you know? And then Steve Martin to cuss like that, you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just like cool little gems, you know what I'm saying? It's like cool little things attributed to the time and the era and like the company of like who they were with and everything. And like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all just a cool little piece of that time. It's like a little time capsule that we get to have and look back to and see like
that's
they
what's
were
so
really
dope.
on some different shit.
That's what's so dope about like movies and just movies in general is that, you know, whenever this movie was made, and if it takes place in the time that it's made, as, you know, the case in this movie, then you can go back and it's what life was like in 1987. Like, if you were to live life in 87, that was pretty much what you would see is this movie. And all the cars, all the clothes, all the buildings, everything. And it's dope that, you know, those, like, movies will live forever. Like, there's, you know, music is like, music will always be there, and all these different types of art, and like TV shows come and go, and you really only know about old TV shows if it blew up or if you were a fan, you know what I mean? But like movies, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles every year is, especially now that it's on Netflix right now, is that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is getting, you know, put in front of a new audience every year, every day. You know, a new generation is watching this movie and enjoying it just like other people did. And, you know, like when people have kids or like nieces and nephews and you have a favorite movie that you watched growing up and you could show it to them and they like it, that's like an awesome feeling. You know what I mean? And that's one piece of art, just this one movie that John Hughes put together all stressed the fuck out, and everybody was running all around the United States chasing snow. And it all paid off because it made this piece of history that anybody can just enjoy at any time, and it has the exact same effect as it did when it first came out, you know? Movies are the shit like that, and that's why we do this every fucking week, because we love movies, man.
We were talking about it before the episode started, and I was saying, like, just looking up all this shit this morning and, like, listening to the music and having watched the movie in the last couple days and, like, you know, just thinking about everything and all the nostalgia, and it just like, it makes you miss these people, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I missed John Candy, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, that's so crazy. I've never seen the guy in person or anything like that, but I've seen so many movies and spent so many hours watching him and everything from so much growing up, you know what I mean? That it really, like, evokes these type of feelings, you know what I mean? It's so crazy. It's crazy to feel like attached to an inanimate object like that, you know what I mean? Like somebody who's just like bigger than life. He's really just like a character. He's a character from all these favorite movies of ours and stuff, you know what I mean? He wasn't like a person, but still he was, you know what I mean? And it's just a trip, dude. It's crazy to see like how many, I'm sure he probably touched a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
Over the years, you know, that's pretty intense.
He's still
probably millions of people's lives, you know.
Yep, he's still a lot of people's favorites, and you know, you still say John Candy, and everybody knows who the fuck you're talking about. Like, nobody's all like, "Who was that again?" You know what I mean? That never happens. Everybody knows who the fuck John Candy is.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I think that, You know, I wish that he could still be with us today. You know what I mean? It's sad that he passed so soon, and I think that the world of entertainment and, you know, movies and acting is really lacking with a guy like that not in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's smoke one for John Candy.
Let's do that. I'm down with that for
All
sure.
right.
This one's for you, John Candy.
I got some tunes right here too. This is the it's like one of the theme songs from the movie. It's like the endings credit song or whatever.
All right. Rest in peace, John Candy. We love you, man.
Trippy, hippie 80s music.
Uh-huh.
Cool shit. Shout out to John Candy.
Hell yeah. He'll live forever. Live forever in his films and his art. And at least until the sun blows up. You know what I mean? They're going to keep... every time we come out with a new thing, like Blu-ray, they're going to keep flipping John Candy movies.
Yep. I mean, we're going to keep playing them. You know, there's plenty more John Candy movies we're going to do on the show. That's for sure.
That's right.
I mean, and future generations will probably do the same. You know what I mean? I mean, this is just probably still just the beginning, you know?
So here's something to look forward to if you're like myself and Joey here, and you are already a huge fan of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Inside of the Paramount Vault in Hollywood, which is kind of, you see that from your rooftop, I'm pretty sure. And so inside the Paramount Vault is over 600,000 feet of film. And it's a 3-hour-long version of the movie that was shot. They shot a bunch of extra shit, and it wasn't just, you know, a few deleted scenes here and there. This was a 3-hour-long official movie, and then they cut it down to its size. But they say that a lot of the film is probably not going to get released because it would need to be restored, and the editing would take too long to cut it and put it like in the right spot and all that shit, because it's all old school film style. But I think that eventually somebody's going to do it. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to make it a project, take it upon themselves. There's going to be some sort of device that makes it easier. You know, you figure they'd have something they could just run the film through and turn it into individual digital cells and then do it from there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, here's my thought on it. I feel like they should do that to a lot of old movies. I feel like the public is missing out on characters' actual selves from behind-the-scenes footage and things like that people have compiled over every movie ever made. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything has miles of footage that gets cut out, you know what I mean, after you edit it down. Well, a lot of that shit is going to be genuine, like, in the moment, get to know that character type of stuff that you would never see any other time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these people are super famous people, like, that meant a lot to us that are not here anymore, like John Candy, you know what I mean? And if you have that type of footage out there, they should like try to do some like compile some of the best of type of things and put it out there so we could see like not only the actor or the character but the person himself, you know what I'm saying? And that would be like new thing for everybody.
And I think that eventually it's going to happen. All it takes is for, the right person or the right amount of people that have the same outlook as us to get a job at Paramount and get access to that vault. And that's really all it is. You know what I mean? It's chilling in the
All
vault.
vaults.
Yeah. Like all the vaults, and fucking, let's do something with that shit and give it to the public, because there's people that have watched these movies hundreds of times, know every scene, know everything, know every line. And, if you were to throw us an extra hour and 20 minutes of our favorite movie, I'd fucking shit my pants, dude. Can you imagine that? If you just got a whole other movie and it was shot the same time by the same people with the same actors and the same wardrobe, like just got cut out of the movie because it wasn't good enough by Hollywood standards, but you being someone that loves that movie in that particular universe, you would eat that shit up. It'd be gold. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that shit's out there somewhere.
Think about this. Think about how many famous characters are out there still. There's probably hella extra John Wayne footage. There's probably all the way back to Charlie Chaplin footage. You know what I'm saying? There's still probably extra footage of things somewhere that exists somewhere in some vault somewhere.
And there's
a whole nobody knows because there's so much of it to go through.
There's a whole niche market of people that love that thing that you can market to once you do make that. I think if
no
someone,
matter what it is.
Yeah, if someone just gets smart about it, they could just start going through one at a time, just randomly pick something and be like, all right, let's do this.
It should be mandatory. They should have teams of people doing it right now. And
be like, let's digitize this shit and make some money off of it.
Who knows what's out there? Who knows what's really out there? You know what I mean? There could be important shit that...
I don't want to see Paranormal Activity 6. I want to see an extra hour of